So let me share some thoughts with you about why personal branding is no longer an option today. It's a prerequisite if you want to be successful in today's marketplace. And there's 3 reasons. The first is we live in a commodity world. The second is, for most of us, we're selling something that's invisible. And the third is, there's so much noise out there, our personal brand is the only thing that cuts through that noise. Let me take a few moments and share some ideas about each one of those subjects. First, we live in a commodity world. It's a fact. If you think that your legal services are different than the firm down the road, you're fooling yourself. If you think somehow your financial services are better than somebody else's, again, you're fooling yourself. If I think that I'm the only person that can deliver sales training the way I do, I'm fooling myself. You see, years ago, people could have trade secrets and you could keep them a secret for a long period of time. With the internet today, everything is leveled. Even if you do have a trade secret, the likelihood of staying a trade secret for an extended period of time is minimal. So if we live in a commodity world, then how do we decommoditize ourselves? And the answer is our personal brand. You see, if we don't build a personal brand that is likable, that precedes us to the marketplace, that other people gravitate towards, we're going to be stuck in the middle of the pack. We're going to be no different than our competition. You know, sometimes I'll work with law firms and I'll ask them, I'll say, so what makes you unique? And they'll be like, you know, we have really, really super smart people in our firm. We have like the best trial lawyers. And I say, it's interesting because your competition has been running some advertisements and they say, we only want stupid people. We want dumb people. We want bad trial lawyers. You see, every law firm has good lawyers. Otherwise, there wouldn't be many of them. And it's the same thing for real estate. It's the same thing for financial services. It's the same thing for mortgage brokering. It's the same thing for car dealerships. If you look around, basically your competition has everything you have. And the only way for you to gain a competitive advantage is to promote your personal brand credibility and become a better brand than your competition. Number 2, years ago our economy was driven by manufacturing. Today, 79.4% of our economy is driven by the service sector. Now, why is that important? Because the buyer is visual. And what does that mean? Well, if we're selling something invisible and the buyer can't see what we're selling, right? He can't see legal services, he can't see real estate services, he can't see mortgage brokering services. The only thing left to see is you and me. Our brand becomes the product, whether we like it or not. You see, people buy personality and ideas long before they buy products and services. So if you're in the marketplace and you're selling a product, you're at a strategic advantage. If you're not, you're at a strategic disadvantage, which means your brand becomes that much more important. Now, the third reason why it's absolutely vital we have a great personal brand is because of the amount of information in the marketplace that comes at us on a daily basis. The average person will receive 3,000 to 4,000 emails every month. Think about it, 3,000 to 4,000 emails every month. In one edition of the New York Times Sunday newspaper, one edition, there's more information than an 18th century English person would learn in their entire lifetime. We have set up our world, though, to block people out because we know of this dynamic. We have caller ID, we have voicemail, we have receptionists, we have executive assistants. Everything is designed to block us out, spam blocker in our emails. Well, when we get in front of people, it's impossible for them to block us out and our personal brand. And if people are going to make a decision buying personality and ideas long before they buy products and services, it's absolutely vital that our brand is dynamic, exciting, and attractive to our target audience. So again, the 3 reasons why your personal brand is so important in today's marketplace. First, we live in a commodity world and your brand is the only thing that's going to decommoditize what you're offering your customers. Number 2, for most of us, we're selling something invisible. And if we are, the buyer is visual and the buyer needs to see something to make a decision, which means we become the product. And 3, the only way to cut through all the noise is to build a great dynamic personal brand because there is no caller ID to block out your personal brand. There is no spam blocker to block out your personal brand. There is no receptionist to block out your personal brand. The question I have for you is, are you going to take this opportunity and this information and develop the kind of personal brand that makes you the person to see with your target audience?